Welcome back to Project Ascend. I'm Andy Pemberton. Today, in part 2 of my interview with professional journalist Neal Rogers, we discuss summit fever, emotional preparation, and the pressure of climbing Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world.
I know you to be somebody who's very logical and very structured, but there is an emotional element to this. And in terms of being prepared, like, how do you know you're ready for this? And how much of it is the emotional side part of it versus sort of the logic and the structure and the preparation?
Yeah. The physical side, I've prepared for a big mountain climb. This is bigger, so I have the stress of like, well, how much more fit are you gonna be? Do you need to be more fit? There's that piece of it, and we can talk about that. The emotional side is the area I don't have a whole lot of experience with. And so I'm getting my head around that. And that's, I think, part of why we're here talking, is to kind of put the stakes in the ground with where I'm beginning, and to watch this emotional journey take hold. Fear, confidence, it's all mixed up. And I'm really about being uncomfortable and leaning into that idea, because I think that's where there's some growth, and I don't know how you find things that you didn't know you had.
So there is a bit of pressure though, because you've got the fundraising element, you've got your family there, you've got your own goals, and then, you know, summit fever is a real thing, and you don't know what it's going to be like on the day of the ascent, whether it's the weather, whether it's your physicality. So how do you wrestle with that? How do you wrestle with the idea that you may be forced to make a decision?
Yeah. I think I need to fill my cup before I go, in a way, so that the summit isn't the end all be all. And if I can do that through exploring what this means, then I think I'll have a better opportunity to look at it with the right goals in mind. You are compromised, right, at altitude. You're not thinking clearly. I'm putting a year of training. I started training June 15th. We leave in early April. That's a lot of, I'm all in, right? And that's how I operate. So there is a friction there that I have to understand. I also need a support group like the expedition guides, who can say, you are not right, you can't go any further. And that amplifies the higher up the mountain you get. So when you're 100 meters from the summit and you're out of time, you need to turn around. That's where all the chips are on the table, and you got to pull some back. And this is not a summit at all costs. I can say that now. I'm coming home, and that is the contract I have with myself first and with my family.
Yeah, you made a comment earlier, you're only as good as your descent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and my experience, that's the hardest part of the climb. Is coming down. You have achieved your goal. You can take a breath. You can let go of all the tension that you have carried for the last year, and you're going home. And that is, you're fatigued, and I felt that, and it's dangerous, frankly. And so you have to have something in the tank again to get home. I'm very aware of that.
Yeah, and you can't let your guard down at that moment. It's not over.
Your 30th rappel off the summit, and you're tired, and it's getting dark again, and you're hungry, and your head is spinning, and your stomach is turning. You've gotta be on your game.
Well, it's good to hear that you won't let external factors put too much pressure on you, because there will be people who have donated money.
Yeah.
Your family will be there. There are people who are watching,
I know.
and that is sure to weigh on you. But you're clear-minded about.
I am sharing this journey so that regardless of the outcome, and I know people can say, hey, we're not donating to your summit attempt. We're donating to this to Nevis, right? And to get that, and that's important. I am providing entertainment. I mean, at the end of the day, and my hope is that it rises above entertainment into inspiration. This is my Everest, literally. What is what is yours, right? What is your metaphorical summit? Maybe it's your professional situation. Maybe you want something more. Maybe it's your relationships, and how do you work through that and go out on the limb that I guess I'm going out on, and find yourself in a way.
It's probably worth mentioning that none of the funds that you will be raising are going toward your expenses. It's 100% going to Neva's.
That's correct. And I would not feel right. It would be disingenuous to ask for donations to fund my climbing expedition. I am paying my all expedition funds and gear and all of that. Every dollar that I raise goes to Neva's to build homes in Nepal. And for context, we build a home for about $6,500, and that has its own. I don't know. It's incredible. I mean, home is everything, right? In a lot of ways. To me, it's really important. And so, to give someone, a family, and a woman, the disadvantaged mother in Nepal, the opportunity to be a homeowner is an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, to make a profound change on someone's life.
It is, yeah.
It sounds like, we've discussed the mental side. Tell me a little bit about the physical side and just the preparation. I mean, you just had a knee surgery.
Yes, another interesting piece of this, which is preparing physically for something you can't imagine. I know what hard is. Climbing training is fairly linear, but when you get a setback and all of a sudden your plans are put on hold, it caught me off guard, to be honest. I was moving through, my progression of training and getting fit, and laid a nice, solid fitness base, doing everything I was supposed to. And then on one run, a pretty routine run, my knee started hurting, and then it didn't go away. And I was still able to train, but I was like, this is a problem, and it's only going to get worse. So I got the MRI, and I got good advice, and ironically, it's the same thing that happened to my right knee 6 months before I climbed Mont Blanc.
Yeah, so there's a pattern here.
I had to dig back and look at that and be like, it's going to be okay. You've done this before, right? And so made the appointment, had the surgery. It's fairly minor. It was a tear in the meniscus, and so they cleaned that up. I am walking a week later, and everyone's like, you've got to be chill, right? Like, don't go running, just let it heal. And so I am, and that's requiring some discipline, but. The training is, I got a coach, Mountain Tactical Institute out of Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and their application-based programs are for mountain athletes, military, first responders, ultra runners. It's very specific to what you're doing, and they have a plan for Everest. The physical setback is a piece of the journey I just wasn't ready for at the moment, and so all of a sudden I had to scale back. And I've had 4 knee surgeries: football in college, and then cycling and climbing and hiking and all that. So, nutrition, I am hyper focused on the things that, I don't know, a year or 2 ago I was like, everything that goes in my body I'm very aware of, and I'm not always great with it, but I don't know, I think it only is going to help me in longevity after the fact. I know now how to eat healthy.
What about just physically preparing for 29,000 feet? You won't know until you're there, in a sense. How do you get your body ready for that sort of effort?
Just work with what I have, which is massive fitness, or what I want to have is massive fitness. And then there's a mystery, you can be super fit and get to a certain altitude and your body's like, not today. I've been to 23,000 feet. There is a climatization schedule, which is the traditional way of climbing high altitude mountains, up and down. Go high, sleep low, go a little bit higher, sleep a little bit higher, and that works. It's why you're in country for 2 months, and it gives you an opportunity to see how your body adapts. And so, I can go climb Long's Peak, 14,000 feet. It's right up the road, and get to the top in a couple of hours and be like, wow, you can feel it. I can get to 18,000 feet in Nepal or anywhere over the course of a week and feel completely different and better. You know, there is some science and experience behind that scheduling.
When you mentioned longs at 14,000, the first thought I had is, okay, Everest is double that.
I know. Looking, you strain your neck, right?